Okay, so I set up this application over here. So I've got Firebase running over here. So that's my Firebase store. Okay, so my database over here. And then I've got one version of the application. I've got another version of the application over here. So in command line, I've set up something so that I can have store .todos. So you can see this is a to-dos application. So I can do app. Okay. So I quite like to use something that doesn't make sense, like Andy, Bob, and Chris. So if I say Andy, then basically you'll see Andy over here. Ooh, right. I've got something that I show you accidentally, which is what I'm going to talk about later. So we've got Andy over here, Andy over here, and Andy over here. So it's all synchronized. So that's the power of Firebase. So if I delete something over here, for example, that'll be gone everywhere as well. So then let's look at the code. Okay. So I've just shown you adding, and I've also got deleting. So if I delete over here or there, it will be the same. If I add it in command line, it will also be the same. So let's just look at how it's all set up. Okay, you can see how simple the code it is. This is all I have. I don't even have anything more. I even have space to put the package .json over here. So this is improvement based on a boilerplate called Mobx React. You can just Google it. It's created by a guy, this guy that creates Mobx. Okay, so the initial boilerplate has Mobx, Mobx React, and React DOM. He puts the Mobx React DevTools in the dependencies. I just moved that to the dev dependencies. Okay, so I've also added Firebase, and that's the only thing that you need for this additional functionality for Firebase. You don't need anything more. I'll show you how simple that is. Okay, I've got Lodash over here. That's just for my personal benefit. I'm gonna talk about that later. Yeah, just a tiny little touch. Okay, so I've got all of this. So in command line, what we need to do is setting this up and then run npm install. Okay, and then that will get you everything set up. I'm going to put that into my GitHub repository for the instruction about how you can run the application. So you just run npm install, and then afterwards you can run npm start, because the original boilerplate already has this start script for you to start a server. So that runs on port I don't know 3000. Okay. So that's the original setup that they provide you, and I only just added this one. And optionally, you can add Lodash. Okay, and this is also something provided by default by the other boilerplate. So I'm not going to talk about that. Yeah, and that's also provided by the initial boilerplate. The only new thing that I added was that one, which is a to-do list component, which is over here. Okay, so initially they've got this timer component, while I just added a to-do list component instead. And then this to-do list component, you can see within that, it's got this UL and it's got an LI. So if I should just show you what that has, okay. So then within this LI, I've got a key to represent the key, and then the one being displayed is the name of the key. Okay, so name is actually a to-do item. Okay, so so I also added this onClick event over here that calls the delete function within this component or method, if you will, and then that just calls this to-do items delete function. Okay, so basically all you need is just this component, which is over here. You need to say it's an observer which observes this to-dos over here. Okay, so if you look at this, that actually is pointing to this store to-dos. So that's where I put the file over here. Okay, so then within here, as long as you mark this one, as long as you set this one as observable, observable, yes. And then over here you can just say I can just look at that particular thing. Okay, so in order to set up Firebase to work with this, the simplest way I can find is setting the object, well, setting the to-dos to be an object, which reflects what you have on Firebase. So in Firebase, if I show you the setup on Firebase, so that's the a standard config from Firebase 3. Okay, so now I've got this root. I've also got the to-dos. Okay, so if I sort of show you how it looks on Firebase, then that's the root. Okay, and then if I sort of add one item by doing it over here, okay, you'll see this is the root, and that's to-dos. So that reflects to what we have over here. Okay, so I've got this thing called FB, short for Firebase, and then export that over here. So then over this side, I can just say, okay, let's go to Firebase and then set up to-do items, which is this one. Okay, so that's to-dos over here, and then I put on value. Then afterwards, I just say, let's pull everything from Firebase and put it into this particular map called to-dos. And it becomes an observable so that we can just use it in our component. And there is a trick over here, which is you need to say, I want to convert that into JavaScript JSON. And then your Firebase observable, well, your Firebase version will get into this observable, and then you can just turn that into a JSON to be used by your React component, basically. So that's how you can easily set it up to listen to the Firebase values and then just use that in your application. So there is one thing over here that I want to mention as well, which is you set it to on value, which means it will constantly listen to Firebase to notice whether there's anything changed. That's why in here, if I just say delete, which is let's go to the to-dos and then find that particular child with this ID and then remove that, that will trigger this part to run again, and then it will just take out the particular item being removed from Firebase. So your code will be simple as just interacting with Firebase, like updating. It's just updating that ID with a particular value, for example. And then adding is just getting an ID, like a Firebase ID, and then I just call update, which is like going to that particular location and then set that ID with this particular value. That's all I need to do. Okay, so you can easily add items by interacting with Firebase, and that will get added by calling this part. Okay, it will run this part, and then the new item will be set into the to-dos, and then the item will be put into here, and then your page will see the result. So that's adding, and then updating will be the same. As long as you update Firebase, it will get set to over here, and then that will get set to the view as well. So because you've got this observable, and then you've got the observer over here, then that will automatically trigger React to update the content over here. Then deleting will be the same. Either you do that in command line, like what I did earlier. So because I set up Windows Store equals to this to-dos, that's this one. Okay. So then in command line I can do that. Or I have a component over here saying I have this component on click, it triggers this event to triggers this action to delete that. So that's another way of doing it. Okay, so you either do that in command line or over here or on Firebase. Everything will be synchronized. It will just because you set up this on value over here, you'll update this particular item, and then basically the result will be reflected to the view by using the observable to trigger observer to re-render the React component. Okay, so that's how simple it is for you to set it up. Sorry, I forgot to mention one last thing. In here, I just say new to-dos to create this particular item, and then have that as export over here. Then whenever I import that, okay, so it will import this particular one version that I create, and then just use that on the view. Okay, so I'm gonna check the code into GitHub, and then yeah, just feel free to have a play. So if you want to set up your new Firebase location, just change this part. Okay, right. So I hope you enjoy that. This is really simple. I can't imagine how code can be written in a simpler way. One tiny little caveat is if you sort of mess it up over here, like for example, if I don't do this del by this, for example, if I do it like this, that triggers an error. Whenever an error occurs, which is not good, to sort of wipe out what you have over here. Okay, so earlier I have Andy over here. You can sort of see that over here. Well, when I do something wrong, it actually wipes that out because the observable observers and so on, they just trigger the events to do something wrong. So what I'm trying to say is, if you sort of set this up, it's got that convenient. While you actually need to set something up like a development version of the environment, and once you're happy with that, then it's all fine. Just push that to your production Firebase environment, and then that will be fine. So try not to mess it up. However, on your Firebase, if you have like proper security setup in here, I've got nothing set up over here just for demonstration. Yeah, but if you have proper stuff setting up over there, then the deletion wouldn't be much of an issue, but it's still not something you want to have on your system. So try it in your development environment. Once you're happy, put it into production. That's my suggestion. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video and have fun.